Of course, we do have tools that would allow us to do a quite different thing. And this different thing is that we would like actually to delay the sugar accumulation, all right? But at the same time, we don't really want to delay also all the color accumulation or the flavor accumulation. So basically, we would like to reduce the decoupling between these two group of parameters. Here, I don't have time to talk about these techniques 1, 2, and 3, but let me just point out this one. This is a strange picture, I understand, because when you do leaf removal, usually you remove leaves from the basal part of the canopy, right? Here we have done exactly the opposite. This is a late leaf removal that was done around veraison, and on purpose we remove a section of the canopy that is fairly high as compared to the cluster position, because we really want to decelerate, to delay the sugar accumulation, but we don't really want to, interfere too much into all the other things. And this is quite successful because if you remove leaves, and when you remove good leaves, you basically would actually have a decrease in photosynthesis, but especially in red cultivars, we have seen that the color does not change a lot because you don't really touch the cluster microclimate. The cluster microclimate is basically the same because we are not actually removing anything. We are just removing leaves on top. And this is fairly effective. Oh, here I need to apologize for this, but this is a sort of crazy idea that was actually inspired by some older work where people were actually getting a sort of double cropping in vinifera, but vinifera grown in a temperate continental climate. So I'm not talking about a semi-tropical climate where two crops can be fairly common and possible. Here I'm talking about the possibility that since we have a very long growing and ripening season, well, this year, actually last year here in Italy, in my area, until the end of October, it was so warm. And so there is an extension of the growing season. So we did this trial that has been also replicated in other part of Europe, in Spain in particular, and it is actually fairly possible to obtain two different crops in the same year. And the sequence of operation is when the primary shoots are, let's say, around fruit set, you would actually trim the shoot quite severely, leaving 6, 7 main leaves, right? At the same time, you have to remove any developed laterals that is actually on the shoot at that time. Now, if you remove the young organs, okay, including the laterals, what you get is the unlocking of the dormant bud. So the dormant bud, instead of behaving like a 2-year bud, the dormant bud would behave basically as a prompt bud, all right? And so here you see after the trimming, after 15 days, this is a dormant bud that is now growing. This is totally weird, right? And you see, this is a dormant bud after a couple of weeks with the new shoot. And these two clusters are actually the clusters originated by the forced shoots. The primary crop has been already harvested, and this second crop is actually coming approximately 40 days later. And this is a sort of impressive table I don't want to scare anybody, but well, in this study that has been published quite recently on the Australian Journal, let me show you just a couple of things.